My name is David Hack. I served in Vietnam when I was 28 years old. By all standards, I was an old man. I volunteered for Vietnam in 1968 during Tet. I went to the 1st Infantry Division base camp called Lai K. Lai K is right off of Highway 13 that comes from Cambodia to Saigon. My job when I first arrived was career counselor, where I would fly from zone to zone in a Huey, or sometimes on the track, and I'd hitch a ride now and then on a truck convoy. And I would talk to the men about Vietnam. I'd talk to them about what they were going to do when they went back home. In essence, I was a counselor, and that was my job. I was wounded in action April the 10th, 1968. Got hit by a rocket, right side. Was in the hospital over there. Went back to duty. Major General Keith Ware had heard about me, and he was the commanding general of the 1st Infantry Division, and asked that I would come down and be interviewed. So I went down, I talked to him, and he says, I'm looking for someone to watch my back. And he says, how would you like to be NCOIC of protocol? And I said, well, it sounds interesting to me. So next thing I knew, I was NCOIC of protocol for the general. Wherever he went, I went. Unfortunately, the general was killed Friday the 13th, 1968. I was wounded at the same time. He was in the air, I was on the ground. He was blown up, I was blown off of a track. I went to 106 Hospital in Japan from there. I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, stayed there for a year as a patient. And then after that, I was on medical hold for 4 years. Those 4 years, I was a recruiter in Akron, Ohio. And there again, I had the opportunity to talk about Vietnam, talk to other people about Vietnam, and high schools, colleges. And there again, I was more or less a counselor about Vietnam. Vietnam was a country that was divided, just like the United States was. We were divided at that time. People agreed, people disagreed. In Vietnam, it's a little different though. Those people, whenever they disagree, they go to war. And war, as everyone knows, is a terrible, terrible thing. So with that said, being a Vietnam veteran has an awful, awful lot of advantages for our fellow man. We can pass on the good, and we can help those that just don't quite understand exactly what all was going on at that particular time. And I most certainly feel it's an honor to be a Vietnam veteran.